Seriously, do it. Do it. Do it.
That red and white striped car racing through the streets is impossible to forget. The two main characters had very different personalities, which led to a lot of arguments, but still they teamed up to solve crimes, even though it often created plenty of trouble along the way. It's a movie where a major star shows up with zero credit. 9 identical cars were destroyed to make one look perfect, and the original actor hated the most iconic prop so much he refused to even touch it. Today we're getting into 20 facts that you didn't know about Starsky and Hutch. And trust me, some of these will completely change how you see the film. And if you enjoy discovering insane behind-the-scenes stories like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another great video like this. Number 20. In the original series, which ran from 1975 to 79, Starsky was the streetwise, instinct-driven detective, while Hutch was the calm, more intellectual and educated partner. The 2004 movie made a big change. Director Todd Phillips decided to flip the personalities, where Starsky, played by Ben Stiller, became the rule-following cop who sometimes had emotional outbursts, and Hutch, played by Owen Wilson, turned into the laid-back detective who wasn't afraid to break the rules. The swap worked perfectly because it matched each actor's natural comic persona. Stiller is great at playing nervous characters, which made him perfect for the serious version of Starsky, while Owen Wilson is known for his easygoing demeanor, which fits the new version of Hutch. Todd Phillips wanted their differences to feel fun and surprising, not boring or expected.
Oh, really? Hey, why don't you do me a favor and go get yourself another perm and let the grown-ups talk?
For your information, my hair is naturally curly.
No, it's not.
Number 19. Will Ferrell was the weird biker who was obsessed with dragon tattoos, and his character forced Starsky and Hutch to do some deeply embarrassing things just to get the information they needed. However, his name is not in the opening credits, the closing credits, the poster, or even in the movie's marketing. Nobody knew he was in the film until they actually watched it. At the time, Ferrell was riding high after leaving Saturday Night Live in 2002, following a 7-year run, and he had just broken out as a film star in Old School. But his Starsky and Hutch appearance was kept secret on purpose. The surprise made his scene even funnier and more memorable for the viewers. Fans loved the unexpected twist so much that some went back to see the movie again.
And it's gonna involve both of you. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna get weird. 2 dragons.
Number 18. The purple 76 Lincoln Continental that Huggy Bear drives in the film is actually Snoop Dogg's own car. Todd Phillips had a hard time finding the perfect car for Huggy Bear. It had to be unique, feel authentic, and look super cool. So when Snoop heard about the problem, he mentioned that he already had the exact car they were looking for. It was the same model, year, and even color of purple. Instead of sourcing a separate vehicle, Snoop drove his own Lincoln to the set. The car brought on a new level of realism and swagger to Huggy Bear's character that just can't be faked. While Stiller and Wilson's characters had their famous red Ford Gran Torino, Snoop's personal Lincoln showed off Huggy Bear's flashy style.
I like your Lincoln.
It's a 76. It won't be out till next year. But I know some people that know some people that rob some people.
Number 17. Todd Phillips helped to write the screenplay, and one of the most exciting scenes takes place on Reese Feldman's yacht with Huggy Bear. The action-packed moment leads to Starsky and Hutch driving their famous red Ford Gran Torino off a pier and straight into the bay. While the scene is thrilling to watch, filming it was not fun for the director. He got really seasick and had to admit to everybody that he actually hates being on boats. Even more iconic is he was the one who had added the yacht scene to the script. When people asked him why he included it, he didn't have a clear answer and eventually joked that he'd never write a film or anything again that had a boat. The yacht scene ended up being one of the most expensive parts of the movie to make, but while the Gran Torino was sinking into the water, the director was stuck dealing with how seasick that he felt.
Bye, heroes! Come on, double back to the shipping yard!
You got a boat?
Nope, but I got an idea!
16. The production team used 9 separate Gran Torinos to portray the same car through the film. 2 of them were called hero cars, used for close-up shots, inside scenes, and promo pictures, while the other 7 were for stunts. These were used for all the wild action like the fast chases, the dramatic dock jump, and the sinking scene at the end, and each car had a specific job to make sure the hero car stayed safe and untouched. The car that ends up sinking in the bay was a stunt car. No special cars were destroyed for that scene. The crew had worked hard behind the scenes to make all 9 look exactly the same and wanted the audience to believe it was just one car the entire time.
Here, pop the hood. Let me see what you got.
Hey, hotshot! What do you think you're doing? This is a Ford Gran Torino, okay?
Number 15. The original Starsky, Paul Michael Glaser, hated the Gran Torino, so when producer Aaron Spelling first introduced it in the TV series, he immediately had harsh words. He joked that his co-star David Soul, calling it a striped tomato, and took his own jokes even further, trying to damage the car on purpose. During stunt scenes, he hit the front wheels into curbs and crashed into dumpsters, and seemed to enjoy ruining the car whenever possible. He found it unwieldy and difficult to handle at speed. When the 2004 movie rolled around, you would think he might have changed his mind, but he still wanted nothing to do with the car. Even though new production models were made for the film, he refused to sit in or even drive one. The man who had made the car iconic on television did not want to be anywhere near it. His cameo at the end was carefully planned out so he wouldn't have to spend too much time near the vehicle, and he even had to hand the keys over to Starsky, all while standing next to the car that he had avoided for decades. Number 14. Even though many people call it a remake, the 2004 film is actually a prequel. It takes viewers back to the beginning, showing how Dave Starsky and Ken Hutch became partners, giving the film a new origin story while keeping the same 70s Bay City setting as the original TV show. Todd Phillips was able to show how their friendship formed without interfering with the events in the series, and even if you've never watched the show, you can easily follow the story. Combine all of it with its nostalgia and meaningful ending, and you've got a great buddy cop movie that'll make you laugh, take a trip down memory lane, and maybe even shed a tear.
Pop it.
Hey!
Gotta be very ginger.
What are you doing?
I said drop the stick.
Want to point a gun at me? Okay, fine, have it your way.
Number 13. Despite being based on the hit 1975 TV show, this movie is not a remake or a reboot, as most people would expect. Instead, it's a prequel, showing how Starsky and Hutch became partners before any episode of the series. It takes you right to the beginning, allowing you to see the beginning of the friendship. The creators, including the director, took this chance to craft a fresh backstory without changing what fans already knew about the show.
Willis, I want you to meet my new partner, David Starsky.
Hey there, Willis. Nice to meet you.
Is this the dick we you were telling me about?
The story stays in the 1970s Bay City setting, making everything feel familiar but also brand new. You don't have to know the series to follow along, but if you do, it's like uncovering a hidden chapter. The ending where the duo heads off to a new case feels even more meaningful when you realize it marks the beginning of their iconic adventures. Number 12. According to the official Writers Guild of America records, the screenplay for the film was credited to John O'Brien, Todd Phillips, and Scott Armstrong. The story came from John O'Brien and Stevie Long, but William Blinn, the creator of the original series, got credit for the characters. The credits do not tell the full story of what happened behind the scenes. It turns out that Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson made big changes to the script while filming. Stiller added funny dialogue and improv lines, and even though other writers had helped to refine the jokes, Stiller was the main force behind the final version. Todd Phillips balanced this project with his work on Old School, and also rewrote parts of the script early on, and by the time that Armstrong joined, the script had gone through so many changes. Despite all the hand shaping it, the final movie flows so well, you'd never notice a thing. Number 11. Ben Stiller's production company has a name that may surprise you. It's called Red Hour Films, and the name is inspired by a 1967 episode of Star Trek. The episode, The Return of the Archons, features something wild called the Red Hour, a specific time when an alien society allows total chaos to break out in a world that's otherwise tightly controlled. Stiller and his co-founder and producer Stuart Kornfeld thought that was the perfect name for their company because comedies that they make often feel like hilarious moments of organized madness. Red Hour Productions was officially founded in 1998, years before it brought the 2004 film to life. But its wild spirit fits perfectly with movies like Zoolander, Dodgeball, Blades of Glory, and Tropic Thunder, which were all produced by Stiller's company. These films showcase a specific kind of humor that's full of big personalities, chaos, and memorable moments. Stiller often worked with the same group of performers, creating a signature style.
What?
I'm giving it to Manetti.
Manetti! Oh, come on, Cap! Manetti's the worst cop on the force!
Stop.
Number 10. In 2017, there was a plan to bring Starsky and Hutch back. James Gunn was famous then for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and had signed on to write and executive produce a reboot for Amazon Studios. It sounded exciting, however, Amazon quietly passed on the project before a single scene was ever filmed. Reportedly before Gunn's high-profile firing from Disney in 2018 over his old tweets. The reboot never took place. Number 9. Out of the 9 total cars that were used by production, one stood out for a surprising reason. The close-up hero car was actually a genuine 1976 Ford Gran Torino, part of a limited edition run by Ford. In that year, Ford made 1,305 of the special Starsky and Hutch replicas to tie in with the original show. The car used for the close-ups and posters was known amongst collectors as Torino No. 2, and it was owned by a private collector in New Jersey. What's even more crazy is that its history wasn't as glamorous as you'd think. This Gran Torino had seen better days. It had been wrecked and sold as salvage, repainted the wrong shade of red, and its iconic white stripe was redone incorrectly. Yet somehow it ended up being the face of the movie's promotional materials, and the production team cleverly dressed it up using camera tricks to hide the imperfections. Number 8. The bar that was used for Big Earl's biker bar scene was actually an abandoned structure and sat at the intersection of Old San Gabriel Canyon Road and San Gabriel Canyon Road, which was Highway 39 in Azusa, California. This spot was the Azusa Wilderness Park area, and the production team used it just for exterior shots of Big Earl's bar.
So they say, take a load off, Fanny.
However, it isn't a place that you can visit anymore because after filming wrapped, the entire building was then torn down, and the location no longer exists. Number 7. Producers did not pick Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson right away. At first, the casting team was looking at a variety of names, trying to figure out who would be perfect for the job. But something was missing. They then noticed something special about Stiller and Wilson. Producers realized that the two actors already had a common connection, one that brought their characters to life in a way no one else could. They had worked together before in movies like Zoolander and Royal Tenenbaums, and their dynamic was real. The natural chemistry had made them perfect for the push-pull pair on screen, and once they were chosen, it all seemed so clear. But at first, no one had thought of these two as being exactly what the movie needed. Number 6. The production budget for the movie was about $60 million and earned about $170.2 million worldwide. That's almost 3 times what it took to make it, and it was even before adding revenue from DVDs, television rights, and other sales. When it opened, it landed in the number 2 spot in its first weekend, and what's surprising is that it was up against a film that had already been out for weeks. For a comedy based on an old television show, which some critics had called uneven and aimless, it was a big surprise. Even legendary film critic Roger Ebert was impressed, giving the movie 3 out of 4 stars and saying it was the best of the 1970s recycling jobs. That success would show how dependable the frat pack crew was at the box office. They had just done Dodgeball the same year and Old School the year before, and the hit comedies proved to Hollywood that this group of actors could keep the laughs and the cash rolling in. Studios could not ignore the trend and kept trying to replicate the magic for the rest of the decade. Number 5. Throughout the movie, Reese Feldman, played by Vince Vaughn, keeps calling his daughter's bat mitzvah a bar mitzvah, when at first it may seem like a simple slip-up, but it's not a mistake at all. The mix-up was done on purpose. Feldman's a wealthy man obsessed with building his own image and wants everyone to see him as a perfect family man. The bat mitzvah is a big part of this act. But the fact that he, a man of organizing such a grand event, gets the name wrong says a lot about who he really is.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out tonight to celebrate my little girl's bat mitzvah.
Most viewers don't even notice the small detail, and that's exactly how writers wanted it to be. It becomes a quiet joke, and everything about him, from his wealth to his family life, is all for show. The film doesn't have to shout it out loud, but instead it leaves clues for the sharp-eyed viewer to pick up. Number 4. The rooftop chase at the start of the film was done at the Hellman building in Los Angeles. It's been around since 1902. Standing on the corner of 4th Street and Spring, this structure carries a lot of history, and yet it became the stage for a high-stakes pursuit involving Dave Starsky. The scene shows Starsky chasing a small-time criminal with a ton of energy, jumping across rooftops like everything is on the line. And at one point, he even leaps from the roof of the Hellman building all the way to the nearby Barclay Hotel at 4th and Main, and that jump really did happen. It makes the whole chase feel even more exciting and intense. But the area doesn't look anything like it did when the movie was made in 2004. Back then, those rooftops still had the same old charm, but now the Hellman has been turned into apartments called the Old Bank District Lofts. The whole neighborhood has been revived and modernized, and some of the filming access points have been removed or even blocked off. Number 3. Multiple critics noticed that Snoop Dogg, with far less screen time than Ben Stiller or Owen Wilson, managed to steal the spotlight. He delivered laughs faster than the leads, minute by minute, and stayed true to the character's roots from the original series. Huggy Bear was all about style, being calm, and having confidence, and when he said the iconic line, "I am an urban informer, I am not a snitch," it became the most quoted moment from the film.
I am an urban informant. I am not a snitch.
Come on, Huggy. What's the difference?
Snoop's total screen time lasted only about 10 to 15 minutes in the 101-minute film, and meanwhile, Stiller and Wilson were in most of the movie, making millions for their roles. If you break it all down though, Snoop's impact per minute was unmatched. If he earned even 2 to 3 million for his small role compared to the leads earning 10 to 15 million, his per minute value is much higher. Number 2. The same year that Starsky and Hutch made a huge $170 million worldwide profit on a $60 million budget, Ben Stiller was nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actor. The lead actor in a movie that made $110 million in profit was called one of the worst performers of the year. Carmen Electra, who had a smaller role in the film, was also nominated for Worst Supporting Actress. Critics gave the movie mostly positive reviews, saying that Stiller's performance was sharp, intense, and perfect for the comedic style. Yet the Razzie still picked him. This mismatch between a big financial success and a Worst Actor nomination just doesn't make sense. It's the kind of thing that makes you wonder how they even decide who deserves these so-called worst awards. Number 1. After the film became a big hit, Hollywood showed a lot of interest in continuing the franchise, but nothing ever came of it. People in the industry had quietly discussed a sequel, but it never got off the ground. In 2017, James Gunn, the writer and executive producer of Guardians of the Galaxy, had signed on to reboot the series for Amazon Studios, and fans were excited. However, they quietly dropped the project before filming began. In February of 2023, Fox had announced a female-led reboot, where this time the story focused on Sasha Starsky and Nicole Hutchinson, daughters of the original detectives. They're on a mission to solve the mystery of who framed their fathers and sent them to prison 15 years ago, but the project is still in development, and after 20 years of attempts, there's still nothing to show for it. Now be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you always know when we upload another video like this. If you've got any recommendations, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.